Hey everyone, Alex here, and I have a quick question for you. Have you ever been broke before? So, if you have, then you've probably heard about these three guys here who run School of Hard Knocks. You've probably seen their video. So, in this video, I'm going to break down how they make 150,000 US dollars per month with their digital offer, how they are able to, the strategies they use to monetize their audience and the types of content that they currently make, the strategies behind everything. And by the end of the video, you have a solid game plan in terms if you want to do the same for yourself. But first, the hook that they use is usually, excuse me, say, have you ever been broke before? This breaks the ice because most people have been broke before unless you've been born in a house where you have a silver spoon in your mouth, then that doesn't really matter. If you've been born in a rich family, then you've never been broke. So usually when he asks this question, it breaks the ice because most of these guys have been broke before and they know what it feels like. One of the things that also comes to mind is how they are able to get top creators, top celebrities, people that you look up to. They get actors, actresses, billionaires, millionaires onto these interviews, so street interviews, and they optimize it for vertical consumption, right? So for 3 years, they were able to grow their channel from across platforms to 10 million and 3 billion views across multiple platforms. And in the first 30 days of launching their first digital product, they made 35K in their first 30 days. So I'm going to break that down, how they did it and what it means for you. The first thing here is, if you don't know who they are, James is the face, the guy who is in front of the camera, but behind the scenes, there are three co-founders here. So we have James, we have Joshua, and then we have Jack, right? So Jack and James here are brothers, and then here Joshua, I believe, is one of their friends. But these three guys are the three musketeers in the School of Hard Knocks. And the first thing that you we need to talk about first here, we have their YouTube channel. So the first three, again, the three pillars of this engine, this system, is their YouTube channel. They have some vertical integrations going on, and they have interviews, right? So one of the things that they've mastered really well is the act of street interviews, going on the street, interviewing people, and making sure it is valuable to the audience. They have specific kinds of questions that they ask the audience and how they try to relate with the audience, right? They ask questions, especially if you are in the entrepreneurship space, you are looking for motivation. Okay, how do these billionaires, millionaires make their money? How do they monetize their knowledge? How do they monetize their skill set? James goes on the streets with his team, and then they record these videos for short form consumption. So they have long form on YouTube, and then they also have short form for other platforms, right? So the first thing here is their main channel here that has about 1.6 million subscribers and 700 and plus videos. You can see that their long form content is a compilation of multiple interviews that they've done with these millionaires and billionaires, and most of these videos get millions of views. So if you can see here, asking millionaire homeowners how they got rich, asking billionaire how they got rich, Beverly Hills, this have reached millions of views. And I believe some of these interviews, these creators have to reach out to James and his team, and then they schedule a time, they follow the script, they follow the script, especially the questions, because if you watch any of the videos and then you watch a second video, all the questions are still the same. And apart from that, the first thing that you notice here is lifetime views for the main channel. That's about 255 million views lifetime. And for short form content, short form is the one bringing in the most views. That's at 173.9 million short form monthly, right? And that's lifetime for short form. And then across other platforms as well, I'll be breaking that down as well. And if you look at their, so on the CTA, the city, they are usually promoting to school, right? So they lead everyone to school. You watch the video if you want to learn more, then you go to the school. But that's not all that they are doing. One of the things that they are really, really doing well is they have multiple channels with different kind of needs, right? So the first one that they have here is the clips. So let's say you don't want to watch the compilation, they have the clips that you can also watch on a separate channel. So them separating their videos on multiple channels really, really, really is kudos to them for doing that. Most of the people I've seen who are getting into YouTube, they have ideas on videos that they want to create, and then they start like jump packing multiple videos. Let's say you're a coach trying to build a YouTube channel, and you want to you have multiple ideas on AI, you have multiple ideas on tech, you have multiple ideas on different type of subjects that I want to talk about, motivation, and then try to put all that into one channel. It's going to be very hard. You only get surface level audience. You'll be reaching out to a large amount of a large total addressable market, but when it comes for you to monetize that audience, going niche is very is the way to go, right? So if you look at what they are doing here, they have multiple one channel for the clips of the interviews that they do, then another one that I believe they don't use this channel anymore, but when it was active, they have the hard knocks after hours. So after hours will be okay, interviews like chill and chats, not really scripted interviews. Then they also had another channel that was specifically for entrepreneurship. This again, they don't use this channel again because they've tested multiple angles, right? So one of the things that you notice is they've tested ideas. Okay, would this work? Would this not work? They've tested a lot of ideas, and but one thing that they found that would work is the street interviews that they make, right? So these interviews are usually about 1 to 2 minutes long, and for people who want to learn more about the creators that they are interviewing, then they have the long form School of Hard Knocks podcast, right? So these are usually 1 hour plus podcast, sit down podcast where James and the team gets to speak with these guys, right? So you get from TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, or any of the clipping pages, you see some of these short form interviews, street interviews, and you say, okay, I want to learn more about what these guys are doing. I want to go in depth, right? And going in depth, they have this School of Hard Knocks podcast where they talk to these creators and entrepreneurs in depth on how they got started in the business and how they made their millions, right? And the CTA for under in this podcast usually includes the link the to the guest that they have on the podcast, then follow the main channel again, the one that has over 1 million subscribers right now. And then it says, if you want to learn more, if you learn from millionaires and billionaires we interview on course every week, sign up for our community. Then the link to the community here. I'll be talking more about how they've structured that. Then they have the newsletter. I'll be talking about that as well. Then they have their their merchandise, and then they have equipment and books they recommend, right? So there are multiple ways that they are monetizing their audience, but what we are going to be focusing on is going to be their digital products, right? So that is, since that's out of the way, the other thing that they also, so everything leads back to the YouTube channel, whether it is short form on TikTok, Instagram, everything is leading back to the YouTube channel, right? So on Instagram or on YouTube, you can see some of their shorts here. Some of them have millions of views. And if you go onto TikTok, you can see some of the interviews they've done, popular artists, popular actors, everything, right? They are able to get that done, and it's really crazy. And one of the things that happens is team pages take some of the videos that they've made, some of the interviews that they've created, and they push that out onto their channel. So more visibility. Like this particular video, guy asked entrepreneurs when this has about 30 million views, right? And usually most of these videos are motivational based, so it's motivating the audience, like the younger generation. So people people watch that a lot. Like motivation is something people need in their on their daily basis, right? And the other thing here, so one second, this particular one is for clippers. So clippers can also take the content that the long form content that they make on YouTube, and then they splice that down into onto their pages, and most people are able to monetize from that, right? So that's how they're able to get billions of views. And another thing, right, that they also do that I believe also helps with bringing on these real guests on the interviews is been they've been interviewed themselves on big platforms. One is like on Fox Business. James was interviewed there. How he got one of the guys, um, one of these big actors. Some of these industries reaches out to them, and then they are able to get them booked on the call on the interview. Then we have another interview with Grant Cardone here, different experts. So it's all about leverage, right? So they're leveraging the names of the guests that they bring on, they are leveraging the names of the people they are interviewing, and it creates this effect, it creates this ripple effect where they are able to reach more people, land more guests, higher and higher from there. So like Will Smith and other guys were able to get on the interviews because of the people they brought on, right? So how then are they able to monetize all of this? So they are getting traffic, they have the distribution. How are they monetizing, right? So this is where the product market fit comes to mind, right? So all this content is top of funnel, all this is top of funnel on the interviews. Then the middle of funnel content that they started to create is how they are able to how they are so some of these interviews they go down into how they are able to monetize this audience with brand sponsorships, um with 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 YouTube AdSense, etc. So if you go on to view stats right here, you can see that the estimated revenue that they're making is about 6 to 16,000 per month with what they are currently doing. Again, they have brand sponsorship. Some people are paying them to inject their brands there. So they're making more. When I was doing my research, James mentioned about doing 600K per month with like in total with brand sponsorships, etc., with what they are currently doing. But that's not the focus of this particular video. This particular video is how they're monetizing with digital products, right? So the first thing that you notice that I shared here, I shared that they have newsletters. They are sending people to school. They have their merchandise, and then they are sending people to their Amazon. So they are affiliates sending people to Amazon on the equipment and books that they use and recommend. So the first one here is going to be their newsletter, right? So the newsletter says that, hey, the School of Hard Knocks learn lessons from world's top entrepreneurs delivered weekly. Subscribe to our newsletter to get lessons from successful entrepreneurs delivered directly in your inbox, right? So it says they don't teach these life lessons at school or even at your workplaces. You can only learn this from the School of Hard Knocks. So the School of Hard Knocks, how they got that name is life is life is a school, right? You get knocked down daily, but you still continue to get up, being resilient and learning from there. So when you enter in your email here, for people who want to learn more. So we know if you've watched any of these videos, I've said this over and over again. You do not own any social media platform. You don't own it. You only own the list that you have, right? So with email, it is an asset that you have, and it is something that you can reach out to people over and over again. And they're doing something really great here with what they are doing. So once you enter in your email, they start to qualify the people on their list to better send content that are relevant, or let's say if they want to sell higher ticket product, it's going to be very easy. So once you enter in your email, you are redirected to this form where you are asked for your first name, whether what's your role at your company, what is your day-to-day job function. So they are trying to qualify the people on their list, right? So what company do you work for, etc. So how big is your company? They are not asking you the money that you're currently making, but if you click on any of these options here, let's say you enter enterprise over 1,000 employees, that means you're making way more money. You're making probably 10 to maybe 100 million per year in your business, right? So that's something that they do. And after you've entered your details here, they send you to this page that says, "Thank you for subscribing. You should expect our welcome email soon." To ensure you get all of our emails, check your spam, promotions, or social folders and move it to your inbox if it is not already there, right? So you get this nice thank you for subscribing. Once you click on continue, it sends you to some of their previous emails that they've sent, some of their previous newsletters, and you can catch up on some of these things. So the first one, no hype, just hustle, and Hugo Sanchez Guide to Real Money, how this guy built his 2 billion empire and immigrate. So uh, they are giving you lessons from the guys that they've interviewed. Most of this can be um, behind the scenes content that they've created and nobody has access to. They optimize that for email and then they send it to their list. So the self-made Latina billionaire built a healthcare empire. That's like crazy. So you are able to like catch up on previous issues, and they've done so they have more of this like and what catch up to. So it provides a sense of value. Even if you don't have the money to join their community, you can read any of the any of these newsletters or watch any of the interviews and still provide and still get value. Apart from that, the first time that they launched this, the first time that they launched this offer and made 35,000 in the first 30 days is a subscription, right? So the subscription that they sold here is going to be this. It says, so now that you've watched the interviews, you've seen what these guys can provide, you've seen what these entrepreneurs can provide. The next question is, how can I get more time with these entrepreneurs, 7, 8, 9, and even 10-figure entrepreneurs? I want to learn more from them. So they are not promising you are going to make money. You're going to make more money. That's not what they are promising. The main promise here is you get access to this network that James and his team have interviewed. You get to ask questions. You get to ask questions that you probably have been thinking about. So on social media, when someone posts a video, you can only comment and that's it. You don't get access to this individual. So they're providing you a way of getting access to these entrepreneurs making 7 figures to 10 figures per year. And that's something that they did. And you joined the School of Mentors for 37 per month, right? So they had this. It says log in your access here. So let's just break down how they really did this. So the first thing here says, what is School of Mentors? Our mission with the School of Mentors is to give, again, people access to the most successful entrepreneurs. That's what I said. They are not promising you they are going to make money. They are promising you access to these guys, and that's something. And when you're creating offers, that's something that you need to think about. Let's say you're creating a do-it-yourself. So we have do-it-yourself done with you, and then done for you. So do-it-yourself is the interviews and then the podcast that they have on YouTube and social media. The done with you now is this community that they're providing access to. And here the offer stack is weekly live mentorship. So weekly calls, you get on live calls with these entrepreneurs. You also get access to, it says access the Netflix for entrepreneurs. Okay, so again, it's going to be a video catalog that they've recorded. Then it says access to a 9-figure network. And one of the things about communities like this, paid communities like this, you get to have access to people who are making more money than you. So one of the things that I've learned is you always want to be in communities where you are where you are connecting with people who are making way more money than you. If you are making way more money than the people in your community, then it doesn't really make sense. You need to be in communities where people are more knowledgeable than you so that you're able to learn and then uplift others as well, right? So that's what they're providing. It says another thing that they're also providing is learn directly from the School of Hard Knocks guys. So James, Jack, and George, you get access to them. Let's say you want to learn anything about what they are doing, you can also do that. So the first 2,000 get access to the School of Mentors at a discount. So that's at $37 per month. So this was the first rollout of the product of the offer, right? So that's how they are able to, the first 2,000 members to get in, then they were able to make a profit of 35 35,000. Another thing as well that they are also providing is book a private one-on-one coaching call with mentors. So this is going to be pretty high ticket. So that was like coming soon. And once another thing, want to interview mentors with us live in person. So let's say you also want to jump in on the action. It says if you join the School of Mentors, you get entered into our annual concert trip sweepstakes every year. So something, let's say you want to meet in person, the School of Mentors annual meetup, and we've got a ton more. It, we've got a ton of new things cooking, right? So this was the first rollout of what they did, and then they provided some images and videos of past interviews that they've done. So these are going to be the catalog of videos that you get access to. And it says new live masterclass and Q&A with. So this is something that they did. So based on my research, one of the things that they did was they just started rolling out. They rolled out this offer where you can just purchase one time and then get access to it, get access to the subscription. Another thing that they started doing was they started doing this live masterclass and Q&A sessions. And it says you can check out a few of our upcoming masterclasses and a lot more, right? So if I go right here onto archive and then I scroll, you can see another thing that I believe they really did well here is the frequently asked question. It's not something, so instead of having people to think and then like you're telling people to, so allowing people to use energy here, they've provided they've provided everything for you here. You don't need to click, you don't need to you don't need to wait for it to roll out. You can just read the FAQ here. So they are not spending any energy when they are reading the frequently asked questions, right? And then they get access. So the frequently asked questions um is to, they are answering objections, they are overcoming objections here, right? And it says locking access to the founding members. So the founding members here got access to that. And after it was done, they moved directly to a school platform. So now you don't need to go on to the platform directly. You just click on school, on the school link, and then you purchase directly in there, right? So now instead of the funnel, you have been sent to the school. So if we go back to this links that I mentioned here, so you are sent directly to the school platform instead of a funnel that is built on maybe ClickFunnels or Go High Level or System.io. You get to this funnel here. So the School of Mentors, now they have about 5.2 members in the community. And one of the things that they do is they are giving you a 7-day free trial. So it says test drive the School of Mentors for 7 days for free. But here's the thing. When you want to give it a try, one of the things that you need to remember is you need to enter in a working Visa card or MasterCard. You need to enter in your credit card info before you get access to the free trial. So even though you want to give it a try, they need to have your contact, your credit card info on card on, right. So it's very, so that after the 7 days you are billed for $29 per month. And what is the promise here? It says join the #1 community in the world for entrepreneurs and get mentored every week by millionaires and billionaires that we interview, right? So let's say the people that do the 1 minute interview, they also come on live with you and then you can ask questions, follow-up questions. Again, the same promise, access to Netflix, weekly live tactical workshops, 9-figure network, and then you can also book a one-on-one course directly with the mentors, right? Speak with the mentors directly. That's something you can do. Then another thing that they did, so the first upsell that I noticed here is an application form, right? It says the application is exclusively for entrepreneurs interested in high-level business coaching. So let's say you're in the community and want to get more done, you want more access to the team, you are able to click on this and you're able to get onto this funnel and it can lead to any of these products. So high tickets can be between 5 to 10,000 US dollars. I wasn't able to get the actual price point for the offer, but what I got access to is the school community that they have. So right now they have about 140 members in it tells me that this is pretty really high ticket, especially for what they are promising here. So they're promising weekly live course with the Hard Knocks team, short form content mentorship, long form content strategy, then the billion views formula course. So this is going to be like a real and maybe 6 to 12 months coaching program. So I'll not be shocked if they are charging between 10 to 20,000 a year for this particular offer. And another thing that they're also doing is they have affiliates for what they are currently doing. So sorry about this. This is affiliates, not an upsell. So affiliates who would be able to promote the offer that they currently have. So this one has about 135 members. It says it's a chance to monetize your network so you can promote the offer that they currently have to your audience and then you make money off that, right? So the first thing here that they did, so if we look at the numbers, $29 per month, we have about 5,200 members. You subtract 13 or they have 13 administrators. You subtract that from that, you are getting about 150,423 per month, and per year they are making 1.8 million per year, and that's a pretty neat deal. And another thing that they're also doing is they have this deal with Amazon where they are also promoting the books that they've read, marketing books, business strategy, finance books, sales books, self-improvement books, and then the gears that they currently use. So anyone that clicks on this link are also providing them with some sweet commissions of Amazon, right? So this is how the three musketeers of the School of Hard Knocks monetized their audience that they currently have of the interviews. And if you are someone who is currently making, so if you are someone, you're a coach or a creator making 20,000 US dollars per month and you need help building this same system, the funnels, the strategy, the content copy, and you can book a call with me or reach out to me on Facebook, and happy to see if I can help you with this. And as always, God bless you and stay blessed.